The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 74. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of real women producing extraordinary results by finding their inner journey to self-confidence 5 days a week. Get your free audiobook at our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Well, hello, friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I am your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today I have a special lady all the way from Singapore. So you can imagine the time difference, because right now I'm currently in Hawaii, and she's in Singapore, so the time difference is like almost 20 hours, I think, or even more. But, with the power of the internet, it's amazing what you can do. So, she is a marketing strategist, and she is based in Singapore, like I mentioned before. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Esther Loke. Esther, how are you doing today? Maybe you can fill in the blanks, or maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourselves to the listeners.
Sure. Hello. Thank you for having me. My name is Esther, and I'm a marketing strategist for women entrepreneurs who want to be more of themselves in their business and get the clients and profits they desire. So what I do is that I help them turn their strengths into opportunities and infuse their personality into their marketing strategy so that it feels like really natural and aligned with their business and values.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. It's always great to see, women entrepreneurs help out other women.
Yeah.
We all should stick together, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
And Esther, what's your cultural background?
Well, I'm from Singapore, and I'm Chinese.
Also, what would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
Okay, so my favorite self-confidence quote is by Thich Nhat Hanh. I can't really pronounce his name, but it says, to be beautiful means to be yourself. And you don't have to be accepted by others, you just need to be yourself. Because sometimes, I don't know, for me as a child growing up, I was bullied in school, and I had really, really low self-confidence. So I always wanted to be like the cool girls and all that, and I was like a really quiet kid as well. Yeah, so this quote means a lot to me because I always felt that I was kind of like an ugly duckling. Sort of. Yeah, so I always felt like I needed to be accepted. So this quote really does speak to me pretty powerfully.
Well, that's a great quote, right? And it does have to start with us, and especially being, an Asian woman, it's really hard for us to accept ourselves for who we are because we've always been told what to do, or how to dress or what to say. And, that really hurts us, in the end, because then we don't really trust ourselves. We don't see ourselves as beautiful on the inside or out. And it really lowers our self-esteem and self-confidence. So I really love that quote that you shared. And, in your own words, how would you define self-confidence?
Well, to me, self-confidence is really about really trusting yourself and your abilities. For me, it was difficult to trust myself because, I always wanted to be accepted. I felt like being myself, just by being myself, people wouldn't like me for who I am. So I felt I had to be somebody else. And after starting my business, and I found a tribe of really great ladies and friends who were supporting me, and I come to realize that I really needed to trust myself and what I could do, because sometimes as women we tend to kind of shortchange ourselves, and we tend to think that we can't do really great work, but actually we are really good at it. Yeah.
Awesome. And it's funny, as women we always second guess everything, right? Because like I said,
exactly.
we're always told what to do, and I even read this article on the internet how, for women, it's really hard for them to self-promote because, others will think that they're too aggressive or they're being greedy, all these kinds of things, which really stops women from promoting themselves. And really, it doesn't really matter, right? It should be okay to go out there and promote yourselves. If men can do it, why not the women? So I really love that I love that definition that you shared. And, what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence? I know you mentioned before you were bullied in school. Was there anything else?
Well, I was always very self-conscious, and I was always afraid of what people might think of me. And I was always thinking that people were judging me. So, there's a lot of things that goes on in your head that is not true. And, sometimes these kind of negative thoughts tend to spin, and as in they kind of like when they're in your head, they tend to spin into like stories and everything. That was me before I discovered my self-confidence. I was not confident at all. I was always worried about what people might think of me, and that always stopped me from doing the things that I really wanted to do and to put myself out there as well. So, I mean, one tip that I can share with everyone on getting over your fears and your blocks and all the negative thoughts that goes on in your head is to actually write them down. This has helped me a lot because just by writing them down, it kind of makes it real. You kind of take it out of your head and put it down on paper. And sometimes it actually seems kind of silly when you start writing it down.
It's actually a great exercise because I've done that too. I've written down every self-limiting belief I have and actually go an extra step further. Disclaimer, be safe when you're doing this, but I burn the paper because I let it just means I'm burning all those beliefs away. But anyone who tries this, please make sure you're in a safe area. If you're playing with fire.
Either that or you can just tear it out.
That
something
too.
Like that.
That too. That's another option.
That's a safer method.
So what was like your aha moment when you realized, you didn't always have to impress other people, people love you just for who you are?
Well, I think one of the biggest moments for me is just being in that space, in that community with a group of super supportive friends and entrepreneurs helped me realize that, they accepted me for who I am. And as in, they were friends with me just because, like, I was me. Like, I wasn't somebody else. I could be, like, my true self, and I could be really, like, I could be real. Like, I didn't have to act like somebody else. And I was speaking to a coach recently about, like, fears and limiting beliefs and everything. And she asked me this really powerful question, and she asked me, really, by whose standards was I judging myself? Because, like, I wouldn't know, like, I always thought that other people were judging me, but I wouldn't know that they were really judging me. Like, how would I know? As in, that was just an imagination of my own. So that was, like, the biggest aha moment for me.
I like that question that you said, like, by whose standards, like, who creates all these rules, right?
Yeah, exactly.
When people say, that's not normal, it's like, what is normal? Nobody really knows what the standard of normal is, right? Being an entrepreneur could be something normal, right? We never know, right? This is why, like, it's so funny that we base it on all these weird beliefs that we don't even know where it comes from, right?
Yeah,
we have to step back and say, you know what? Who cares? I'm just gonna be myself. If nobody likes me, too bad, right? Because I always believe that the right people will come into your life. So what's your life like now after that discovery?
Well, I would say I'm definitely a lot more confident about myself. I'm not afraid to share with other people. As in, I'm not afraid to, like, talk to other people or, like, to meet new people. I'm still learning to be more visible and to step out and start putting myself out there. But I definitely feel excited about connecting with people and, like, really sharing my message. I used to be really afraid of, even just sharing about what I do as an entrepreneur, because I was always afraid that, in Singapore, it's still not a very so-called normal thing to be starting your own business. It's normal to get a regular 9-to-5 job, but being an entrepreneur, as in, like, there are a lot of negative, like, thoughts around that as well in our culture. So so just really being able to step out and, like, start talking to people about what I do, that has been, like, that has really shifted things for me.
Awesome. And I don't think it's just in Singapore. I think in a lot of Asian countries, starting your own business as a woman is frowned upon, right? Because, we're just told to go to school, get married, have kids, and and just never rock the boat. Just take care of the kids, right? Take care of your in-laws. Take care of always taking care of others and never put yourself first, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, this is a really great thing that you pointed out, because there are probably a lot of women out there who do want to start a business but are afraid because maybe they're afraid that other people might look down on them or might think that, they're not the kind of woman they're supposed to be. And like we said, from what standards is that, right? So thanks for sharing that. And, to the woman who's listening to your episode, she's probably in the same situation as you, wants to start a business but is too afraid. Or maybe she's, she's dealing with her own self-confidence issues. What would be that one tip you would give to her?
I would definitely say surround yourself with people who will lift you up. That has helped me a lot. I think if you can't find anyone like in real life, like the people around you, if there's nobody that you can find that can lift you up, I would definitely recommend that. Maybe, now Facebook groups are really, really popular. If you can join a Facebook group or something, a Facebook group of women entrepreneurs, and a really supportive one. Like you can really like start connecting with people, and even just like a Facebook group has been a source of like support for me, because people in there, they're really supportive, they're really kind, and that really makes a difference as well.
Awesome. And I believe too, like just connecting with like-minded Facebook group do help, right? Because you're surrounded by like-minded people. So thanks for sharing that. And Esther, if our listeners want to get to know a little bit more about you and your marketing strategy services, maybe they want some tips from you, is there any websites or social media profiles we can link with?
So you can visit my website at createanddelight.com.
Awesome. So to the listeners out there, if you want to connect with Esther, just head on over to the taoofselfconfidence.com and search for Esther's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else we talked about. And I really just want to thank Esther for sharing her story with us, sharing her journey. So Esther, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. It was my pleasure. And to the listeners out there, be on the lookout for another amazing episode of another woman's journey to self-confidence. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Thank you for joining us at the Tao of Self-Confidence. Head over to the taoofselfconfidence.com for full recaps of every show, our amazing blog articles and resources, and just plain fun. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits, so start today.